Hi, this is Mike Pekor from Long Island Hypnotherapy, www.liphypnosis.com. And in this little piece, I would just like to discuss how panic attacks begin. What is the mechanism in operation? Why do people develop panic attacks? How do they originate? The best way to do this is to create a false scenario. Just make something up that represents how panic attacks begin. And then we can discuss it a little bit further. Let's say that a little boy is at a birthday party. He's 3 years old and he's holding a red balloon, and he's looking at the red balloon, and he's so happy with his red balloon. And all of a sudden he hears an incredibly loud and terrifying bang. Maybe someone lit off a firecracker right near him. Something startles this boy and terrifies him like he's never been terrified before. And he's crying and he's crying, and his mom comes over, his dad comes over, someone comes over and consoles him, makes him feel better, gives him a lollipop, tells him it's okay, shows him what the noise was, and he feels better, and he goes on with the rest of his day, and he grows up and really may have no conscious recollection of that event. But for some reason, at some point in his life, he begins to experience bouts of intense, acute anxiety. And in his mind, it seems to be happening for no reason. His body starts to tremble, his heart starts to race, his thinking becomes narrow and racy, he feels as if he can't breathe, he feels as if he wants to run to escape, as if he might die. Sweaty palms, there's a whole variety of symptoms. In any event, it happens for no apparent reason. But in truth, there is a reason. What has happened is, in the past, when that balloon, that red balloon, was the focus of the boy's attention, and at the same time a terrifying stimuli took place, being the sound of the firecracker or whatever the terrifying stimuli was, this boy's brain created an association. It created terror paired up with red, because he was looking at the red balloon, focusing on the red balloon, and at the same time became terrified. So in this boy's brain, red is now associated with terror. And as he grows up, it becomes a pattern that anytime he's seeing something red, for some reason, terror, panic, fear are sparked. Now the boy may not realize that it's the color red that's creating the panic and the fear, the acute reaction of anxiety as an adult or an early adult or a late adult. But it may or may not become conscious to him that this association has been created, that every time I see the color red, I panic. And even if he does realize that there's that association, he may not ever recall the initial event where terror and the color red became matched, associated in the brain. Now this was a gross oversimplification. And what happens many times is there's a terrifying event or a terrifying thought, and later on in life, something that was within the visual field or on the mind of that person when the terrifying event or thought took place gets paired up with that terrifying thought. It doesn't have to be something as obvious or overt as a red balloon. And as time goes on, the terror matched with the stimuli begins to wreak havoc on the person's life, and they feel that they're out of control. but there is a reason for the panic. It is being caused by something in the mind from a long time ago, and there is a remedy. Please see the video entitled Overcoming Panic Attacks and Anxiety that I put out right before this video to start to learn about how to approach overcoming panic attacks. This piece was just informative about how they begin. Thank you. Mike Pekor, liphypnosis.com.